Did you have anything at all to do with the murder of Lisa Kindred?
No, I did not.
Where were you when the murder happened?
I was with Antonio Burnett and his friend Mike.
Why don't you know Mike's last name? Some people would say if he's out with a guy named Mike, he'd know his last name.
Yeah, but he wasn't my friend. He was Antonio's friend. He was just somebody that Antonio knew that I didn't know.
Okay, so you guys are out, and what's the first time that you know anything has happened?
When we come back to the neighborhood, I see a bunch of ambulance and police cars at the gas station, but I didn't know that anything had happened to Lisa. First time I learned that something happened to her was when I went around to Kendra Scott's house. He said that something happened on Bewick.
Okay, and then the next day, you hear that police are looking for you, right?
Yes.
What do?
I go to them. My girlfriend that came up to my mother's house, she had told me that, she said, what, baby, why is the police over in the apartment building looking for you? I said, I didn't know. She asked me, did I have anything to do with the crime? I told her, no. Then my mother had called me, because I got aunties and stuff that stay on me. My mother had called me, she was like, baby, what this boy talking about? He talking about the police want to ask you some questions. And I told her I didn't know, and I told her that I'd be right over there. So then I went over there on Bewick looking for the police.
And what did you say when you approached them?
I told them my name. They asked me what was my name. I told them my name. I said, my name is Jesse, Stank. And they said, okay, we want to ask you some questions. I said, all right.
And then when they took you to homicide, did they arrest you right away, or what happened?
No, they placed me in a room at first and asked me some questions and things of that nature. Then they left me in the room for a brief minute. Then they came back and got me and took me in the room with Antonio Burnett and a whole bunch of other detectives.
Give me an idea of what it was like in homicide. Antonio has said in an affidavit that he was threatened by police. Give folks a sense for what was going on in the homicide unit. How were they treating you guys and what was going on?
Well, they come off, one of them played a TV, but one played a good cop and the other one played a bad cop. One, he'll start cussing at you, yelling at you, talking about, we gonna charge you with this crime, you MF and this and that. Then the other guy, he'll say, hold on, he'll calm his partner down, he'll leave out. Then he'll say, well, just tell me what happened. They'll come off threatening you, then they'll try to change it up, be your friend. And, it was just, it's a intimidating atmosphere, basically. If you don't know the system or if you don't understand what they're trying to do to you, it's real fearful.
And so you believe that they put so much pressure on Antonio Burnett and Raymond Jackson that they just lied?
Yes, I do. When they took me in a room with Antonio Burnett, he was surrounded by 9 detectives. And he was in there telling an entirely different story. He wasn't saying I had anything to do with this crime. He was in there saying that my co-defendant, Kendra Scott, Raymond Jackson, and Eugene Jackson was talking about committing this crime. Then I told him, I said, man, tell these folks the truth, man. Me and you were somewhere else. Then that's when they stopped it. And then he started telling them, they said, stop, hold on, get him up out of here. And they took me up out of there. So I truly believe that they intimidated him and placed fear in him.
If Antonio was your alibi witness, why didn't he just, when the police picked him up, say right away, I was with Justly and Mike riding around when this happened? Why didn't he just tell them the truth?
I've been asking myself that question for a long time, and the only thing I could place to it was intimidation and fear. He was a little kid at that time. He was 14, 15 years old. And by him being in an environment with them, that's real intimidating. Some grown men telling you you're going to prison for murder, or we're going to charge you for murder if you don't say this and if you don't do that. So I figured out that was the only reason why he did that. Because if that's the case, when he's not in their presence, even on the stand, you could tell the difference. When my attorney was questioning, he was saying, well, yeah, Justly didn't have nothing to do with this. But then when the prosecutor questioned, he said, yeah, Justly said this. So his story was inconsistent. It was like one minute he was going with them, the next minute he was going with the attorney. So I figured that the intimidation and the fear came from the prosecution and the police side.
What do you think happened when they brought Raymond Jackson in for a second time?
I think by them coming back to get him again, I think that made him scared. Like, why is they coming back to talk to me? I didn't do nothing. So when they got him down there, he said that they was going to try to charge his grandma for harboring a fugitive, and I think that played a big factor to him. Well, okay, let me just go ahead and cooperate with whatever they want me to do, and just so I can get up out of here.
Do you think Kendrick is guilty or innocent?
I mean, in my heart, I believe, based on, I know the fact that the witnesses lied, I believe that he's innocent. But if he's guilty, he deserves to be in prison for this crime. But in my heart, I believe that he's innocent because I know that these witnesses lied.
Almost everybody in prison claims they didn't do it. Why should people believe you above all the others?
But yeah, that's a good question. Now, I've been trying to prove my innocence for almost 11, 12 years. I have never deviated from my story. I stayed consistent to what I said. I mean, the only thing I can say is just look into the facts of the case and get a clear understanding of how the police was operating at that time, the high publicity of the case. And they just wanted to close the case in the public eyes. No, I'm an innocent man. I didn't have nothing to do with this crime. I would never in my life commit a crime of that nature. No, I just hope and pray that people understand it, and when they see and look into the story, that they get a clear understanding of what this case is built upon. They look at the actual evidence that was used to convict us, and it'll show that we didn't have nothing to do with the crime.